All right, welcome back. So we are back on the Xmaxx WideKit. And if you saw the last video, you guys know that it didn't jump as well as the stock Xmaxx. And I didn't realize everything that I had shown in the installation video to the before run video after fixing the cup, and the final run video, even after I filmed it, on what was going on until I got back to my car to put it away. And I noticed all the wheels facing different directions. And it's now sat, 48 hours, and things are starting to come back to normal. We have a lot of cold weather here, and it's kept in the garage, so it gets pretty cold in there. And the day I ran this, it was 60 degrees, so it wasn't ice cold, but it wasn't hot. So what's going on? When I'm hitting the jump, I'm noticing for every action, there's a reaction. And I've said this before, and we relate it to springs. When you push down, they push back up. Fluid can control how fast it comes back up. Fluid can control how fast it goes back down by the thickness of fluid and the valving on the inside of the shock. How many holes you have in that. Less holes, more resistance, the slower it travels, down and up on this particular setup. You don't have a choice of how fast it goes down versus how fast it goes up with valving on this. And we definitely don't have any kind of air charge in these shocks, even though people try to do it by closing the cap with the rod down, giving it a pushback. But long story short, what's going on is the flex on these arms. The lower seems to be okay. The upper seems to have a serious issue to where it's too soft. The bending down when you push on this will cause camber to go in because this is your upper link. So I know why this one's got more camber and this one's got less camber. Because when you land on this side, it causes this to bend in. Same thing with this front. My stock Xmaxx, or both Xmaxxes on these steering links, these things have been bending for a while, and they normally bend right up here by the servo saver. They'll bend to where you have toe in because they're getting bent up so bad. I just take them off, heat them up, straighten them out, and put them back. It's something that's been going on for years, but now I'm experiencing it on links. So what's happening when I'm hitting the jumps is I assumed it was the spring rate since I changed the springs. But what I've learned, and especially after seeing this wheel facing out, this one facing out and cambered way in, and both front all facing, this thing was literally facing all different directions. And it wasn't driving right back to the car. It was driving to the side. It was a sight to see. So what's happening when you hit a jump is right before the jump, right when you get to the top of the jump, what we tend to do with the trigger is you tap full trigger. You always leave yourself that little bit. You never hit a jump wide open, because when you do, you don't have any air control. So you got to hit it at like half trigger, and right before you come off the edge, you give it a little bit of gas to kick it off the jump, to either get some height out of it or to get the front end up. Because if you hit it just full trigger, it'll just nosedive to the front of the RC. So I try to hit jumps at about half trigger, and when I get to the lip of the jump, the top of the jump, the last 4 to 6 inches, I goose the throttle to bring the front end up so that it doesn't nose plant. Well, this thing, what it was doing was it was kicking up the rear. So it would, right before the acceleration, it squats really hard because we're giving it, everything it's got. And then when it hits the jump, it's doing this. And that would normally be related to springs. Well, what I noticed was the more I jumped it, the worse it got. That's why you'll notice in all the jumps, the more and more it jumped, the harder and harder the rear started kicking up. It's hard to tell in a video because you're not controlling the trigger, because the orange car did the same thing. That was my fault because I hit the jump too fast and didn't have enough trigger. And that one went over and I did a front flip. I knew when I pulled the trigger that I was too far into the trigger at the time, that I didn't have enough wheel speed to bring it up. So at that point, tap the brake. This one, I always left myself trigger and I was nailing it. And you'll hear it in the video that you'll hear the RPMs come up in the air, but it just kind of sails down and lands on the front. Well, these arms are bending so much, not only are they bending, they are twisting. And I don't have a big enough pair of pliers, but these arms will literally twist. And when this is trying to rotate forward, this upper is trying to rotate back. So what was happening was this was bending in, the pin side was rotating back, causing the alignment to toe out. Which led me to believe that not only is my spring rate causing me to, for every reaction for every action there's a reaction, my control arms are doing the same. Because when this thing's squatting down, these arms are literally under full load and they're folding a little bit. They're turning to a curve like this, and when I'm going off the jump, the upper arm is doing this. So it's giving you a spring effect off the upper arm. And that's what's going on. So somehow I got to try to, do I think this thing is going to outjump factory max? I do not. This thing won't get enough height. And it's not as controllable in the air as a factory max, as a standard X. I keep calling it max, but it's an Xmaxx. It will not control like a factory Xmaxx. This wide Xmaxx has a flex problem on these upper arms. Now, I can help it by changing spring rate because I can try to compensate for this bow effect. But if the bow effect is changing, this side versus this side, no matter what I do here, is not going to fix right to left. So if I land hard on this side and this arm is giving and it hasn't recouped, and I bring it around for another jump, this is going to give more than this side. That's what I'm trying to explain. So here's my thoughts on this kit. It's a great kit. I think Traxxas tried to give us something we want. I think this kit has an issue. Would I recommend it? I would not. I think it's meant for smaller jumps, 4 foot and down. I don't think it's meant for big air. Can it handle it? Yes. Can you overpower and compensate? Possibly. We'll learn here shortly because I am going to take it to Big Bertha and send it off a jump anyway. But as of now, I know what's going on. If you're happy with your Xmaxx the way it is, a WideKit is not going to perform any better if you're jumping it. If you're running this thing on grass or road and you're just going up and down curbs and low jumps, 4 foot and down, 5 foot and down, I think this is definitely a lot funner than a standard max because of, or standard max, a standard Xmaxx, because it feels a lot better, more planet, more control, especially on loose gravel, high grip, asphalt. So if that's what you guys do, this is a great kit. This is definitely a good upgrade for your Xmaxx. But if you're a guy sending it off big jumps, this is not the kit for you. there you go, guys. Just my thoughts on the new wide Xmaxx kit.
Oh.
I've got some work to do on this. I'm going to check gearing. There'll be another video on that. We're going to check gearing in both. I'm going to clean this up, clean the other one up, and in a couple days we're going to get it out to Big Bertha. It's a 2-hour drive one way for me, so it's a half-day trip to go do that. So I got to make sure everything's ready. I get everything loaded up so I can go back out. I did get the GPM cups, so we're going to go ahead and stick those in, and that's it. But there you go, guys. Also, go check out RC Guy Garage's merch. He's got key tanks, he's got coasters, he's got stickers, and he's got shirts. So there you go. I'm going to throw some clips in from jumping, but that's the front, like the little patch up front. And, oh, getting the shirt all dirty already. RC Guy Garage, not one pack team. Not one pack RC right here. But there you go, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
God, look at the rear. The wheels in the back of this thing are like pointed out now. But look at the rear toe. God, all my shadows are in the way. Look at the rear wheels on this thing now.